Hey, third week here. We're talking about the hero and the mission. Flip the old sands of time, Keith.
It's a cold day. It's a cold, snowy day.
Now you're going to date our podcast.
Well, I mean, we could be in North Dakota.
That's
something.
All right, cold, snowy day. We're talking about the different parts, characters of a story, and life is a story. So these characters, and not just all the characters, but ourselves, experience all these different aspects of being the different types of characters in our own story, in someone else's story, all throughout our lives. So we've talked about heroes, we've talked about villains. Today we're talking about victims. Mm-hmm. And next week we're going to talk about guides in these stories. Mm-hmm. And so
don't get too far ahead.
Oh, sorry.
But we're talking about this in relation to the story of Moses, right?
Correct.
So Exodus, right? So where Moses kind of navigates almost all four of these. We'll find out next week if he navigates the fourth one, but he navigates all of these roles, right? So it's important to understand that you're not always the hero, you're not always the villain,
not always the victim,
and not always the victim, right? So far, so the victim card, right? Very popular for people to maybe play a victim when they're not necessarily a victim. I think of
big difference between being a victim
and playing a victim.
Because being a victim it's I guess with all sensitivity, it's the full range of possibilities, and it's serious, and it can be physically damaging, emotionally damaging, spiritually damaging. Victimizing someone's a horrible offense.
Yeah.
But just playing it.
Yeah. Like in soccer.
To your advantage.
When somebody barely touches you and they flop down and they grab their leg or whatever, and then the guy gets a yellow card, and then they just hop up and
right
go
back
on.
up. Well, yeah, and I think roughing the kicker is like roughing that. My household loves a good punter flop.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the instant replay where the guy never even touches him, but he falls down and grabs his leg. Yeah.
I think I heard in basketball now you can get penalized for the flop.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think this was NBA and is total hearsay. So the person who told me may not be credible at all, and right. I couldn't even identify them to go back and be like, oh, so and so told me. Yes. Right? It could have been a fourth grader.
Probably.
Honest to goodness, could have been a fourth grader.
Probably was.
But according to random fourth grader, NBA players now can be fined by the league.
Oh, when they get hit and they go whoa, and then they fall down or whatever.
Yeah. And then there was somebody the other day, random, said, I think probably same random fourth grader told me actually got injured on his flop. So he got he flopped,
but then got injured.
But then actually hurt himself.
Yeah,
and
that's a good one.
Self-inflicted
victimhood. So we're kind of talking through the story of Moses and Exodus, and we take up Exodus 4:10 through 13. And so this is when God's talking to Moses and is going to send him back to Pharaoh to tell him to free the Israelites, right?
Yeah, now enters excuses.
So Moses says to the Lord, "Pardon your servant, Lord. I have never been eloquent, neither in the past nor since you have spoken to your servant. I am slow of speech and tongue." The Lord said to him, "Who gave human beings their mouths? Who makes them deaf or mute? Who gives them sight or makes them blind? It is not I, the Lord. Now go, I will help you speak and will teach you what to say." But Moses said, "Pardon your servant, Lord. Please send someone else." So he makes this big excuse like, "Oh, I can't go talk to him. I'm just slow. Nothing comes out right, And I think in this whole story, he makes like two or three. He tells God no like two or three times, right? And then God finally is like, "No, you're gonna go do it," right?
Yeah, kind of. A lot of people like good ideas. Like folks will have good ideas.
Yeah.
Right?
I have lots of good ideas.
They have these great ideas, and usually good ideas need some sort of action or follow through. Mm-hmm. And I love this phrase when you have people in these, and I'm not saying they're bad ideas, right? But I get some internal humor out of the ideas that the person with the idea wants no part of executing on,
Right.
but wants to share it.
Sure,
Right.
yeah.
Like, so it's like, oh, you know what we should do? And it's like, we who?
We
Right?
should go to the store and get a pie.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, pie sounds good. Great. Here's some money. Here's the keys to my car. I'll be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That
It's
kind
like,
of thing.
we should fill in the blank, right?
Right.
Like, oh, it'd be great if.
I do this all the time to Shauna. I do this all the
You
time.
do?
I do.
Oh.
I do. I'll be sitting there, and mainly the store excuse, right? Like, oh, you know what we need for dinner tonight? We need blank, right? We should go get that. And then she's always like, oh, well, yeah, let's go. Because she's up
she
to
have an
go
idiom to
anywhere.
go with it?
No.
My dad did.
What? Yeah.
You have a mouse in your pocket?
Yeah, I have a mouse in my pocket.
Do you have a mouse in your
I
pocket?
gotta get up.
No, if you just said we, that's if
Oh,
if you
I see what
if
you're
you
saying. I
said
see
to
what you're
me
saying, like, yeah. So you and your mouse are gonna go. Yeah.
so you guys, so it's you guys should do that.
Shauna's always wants to go. Like, she's not a home person. Like
She's a
I am.
goer.
She's a goer, right? So if you got it'll be like one of those things where it's like, oh man, I'm out of deodorant. I'll get it tomorrow. No, I'll go get it. Like anything to go to Target or Liberty or get in the car or whatever. I needed to get something anyways, right? And it's like, whatever. Yeah, so I do it to her all the time. I'll be like, oh, we need an XYZ from the store. We should go get it. Yeah, okay, let's go. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should stay here because we'd have to get the kids together. We have to get the coats on and the shoes on and get them in the car. Why don't I stay here? Why don't you go get it? And then you just gets that look like,
You tricked me.
you tricked me. And I already said it was a good idea. So diabolical. So, I think
So what though you just led into some excuses
Yes.
there, right? Like
Yeah.
so you had
Gotta
the
get
good
the
idea. You
kids,
had the
yeah.
good idea. She agreed to the idea. You're gonna do the thing, right? Mm-hmm. Moses is like, dude, we should get the Israelites.
we should get these people free.
Yeah, we should free them up. And God's like, that's a great idea.
Dude, go do it.
This is what we need. Yeah, God's like, yeah, we should. Here's what you're gonna go do, right?
Yeah.
Like we're doing it together, but you need to go walk on up in there and tell Pharaoh what's up. And excuses. We got to
should-
get the coats for the kids.
Yeah.
I got these sheep to take care of.
We should ask
Christmas vacation. Got bills to pay. Still got to feed the hog.
We should ask Adam how many times he gets approached for a sermon. Like, oh, dude, this is a great idea for a sermon. And then how many times Adam's like, hey, yeah, you should do that. Like let's get you together and do it. And people are like, oh no, I don't like public speaking. This is just an idea for you, right? Because I bet it's more often than not. Because public speaking is one of those like excuses, right?
Yeah.
Like Moses is
But-
basically saying, like,
but
I'm
that's
not
kinda-
very smart. I can't really talk well.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of an extreme example, right? Like I'm thinking more, along the lines
Pedestrian.
of like we should, like it'd be like, oh, we should hold the door open for people as they leave and say, have a blessed week. Okay, do it. Right? Like I'm thinking much more simple on the we.
We should bring out church bulletins. Great. You make them and print them every week, and then we will hand them out.
No,
or
that's
not.
still different.
Anyway, so I think if you look at excuses, right, as a whole, you can have some pretty dumb excuses, right? Like, hey, you want to go out tonight? No, I got to clean my spice cabinet, right? Like, I don't organize my spice. That's like the classic example of an excuse to not do something. So first of all, what is your go-to excuse when there's something happening and you don't want a part of it? Like, everybody's got a go-to excuse. I do. And then the flip side, what's the lamest excuse that you've ever given somebody that it just popped in your head and you said it, and then you were like, "Oh, that's so dumb."
Lame excuses, dumb excuses, and then lame excuses, and then really good
What?
ones.
Yeah. What is your go-to excuse? Mine is the kids aren't feeling good, right? Because nobody wants to be around a sick kid, and if one of the kids doesn't feel good, then you might be sick too. So then they don't want to
pretty
do
good.
anything with you. That's my standard go-to excuse.
And usually, so
It's, hey, one of the kids isn't feeling good right now.
So I have, I feel as honesty is the best policy, right? So I have a little bit of I don't like.
I just don't want to hang out with you right now. man.
I try to avoid. I just really, really, really try to avoid any sort of falsification of information, just because I'm just not good.
Yeah, but see, with 3 kids, one of them always
That's what
doesn't
I mean,
feel good.
right? Like there's that one's. Pretty,
I'm
that
not
one's
really
pretty-
falsifying information. There's never been a time where all 3 kids are like fine and healthy.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's good. I think sometimes a good excuse though, like if you're having any sort of digestive issues, no one really wants to hear the in-depth
Right.
details of said things, and those can usually create why you're late, why you didn't come at all,
Sure. Yeah.
why you're leaving early.
Hey, why are you so late? You know.
Well,
Well, let me tell you what my gastroenterologist tells me.
let's start with the 8-day-old enchiladas,
Right.
Okay, and I should have thrown them out, right? Usually that story gets cut off pretty early.
Let me just backtrack for a second. I once had an employee of mine, years ago, right, would go to lunch and then call me or text me dude, I can't come back. I ate some bad sushi. Right. Okay. We had a sushi restaurant that's
I
kind
have
of
only ate bad sushi one time. I eat a lot of sushi, Keith, but I
don't.
tell you,
I know,
this
'cause
is
it's fish.
this is public service now, but for the masses, if it's on special
don't buy it.
and it's scallops,
Oh,
don't do it. I don't know why, man, but I ate the special raw scallops. I was off sushi for a month or two after that one.
but California roll is about all I can do because it doesn't have any fish in it. But anyway, I digress. So I can't get out of it. And the first couple times you're like, dude, that's fine. We'll cover it. But in a month, it was 8 or 9 times. And I'm like, dude, if I got sick, violently ill for 24 hours from eating a particular type of food,
It's going to be a minute.
it's going to be a hot minute before I eat it again.
I still can't eat fudge, and that was 1993.
Shauna still can't have guacamole. And that was a cruise when she was pregnant with the oldest. So it was 12 years ago. And she's just now got to the point where she can see it again. Anyway.
Here's one.
Those are the lame excuses, the bad
Here's
sushi.
one for you. All right, so not the brightest crayon, not the sharpest pencil, whatever you want to use, but
Not the sharpest crayon, not the
that's
brightest
right.
pencil.
That's right, exactly. Right?
Yeah.
We've had idiom discussions around the office today. So when I was a kid, I was slow with the phonics, didn't understand it, wasn't a very speedy reader. And do you ever do the tongue tied thing? I just can't speak today. Well, actually, no, I can't read. But that my excuse was, so I'd be reading,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, okay.
Here's my example. I'd be reading the scripture, right? And be Moses said to the Lord, "Pardon your servant, Lord. never have been. Oh, goodness, I just can't speak today. Well, no, I misread the sentence. I was actually, it had nothing. I'm not tongue tied. Nothing. It was just
You have a reading problem, not a speaking problem.
Right.
Yeah.
But I felt as though.
Yeah.
I felt as though the excuse of my tongue's swollen is better than.
I got stung by a bee today.
Anyway, that was
I bit my tongue earlier.
That was one I tried, which actually it doesn't deflect at all. It actually draws more attention to
the flub.
So anyway, that's a open book here, man. That's a good time. That's a guilty one there. Go back with the sports reference. You ever come in last on the wind sprints and pulled the hammy? Oh man, came up. Oh man, get a little soccer flop going on
you
there.
You want to know some truth, right?
Truth bomb, drop
truth bomb. And then I've never told this to anybody before, right?
Oh, don't worry, nobody's listening.
Yeah, it's the 9 people or 10 people here. But so I played tennis. In growing up in high school, lettered and all that kind of stuff. And I was playing this guy. He was really good. And legitimately, I did have a problem when I was going up to the net, and I would hit. I would stop instead of swinging through. Like my normal swing was fine, but when I go to the net for whatever reason, I would stop. Well, that's double force hitting that racket, and so like I kind of like pulled one of my biceps a little bit in practice or whatever. So we had a match. And I'm playing this guy, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel great, but, like, I could play, right? And this guy's, like, way better than me. Like, way better than me. Like, there's no way that I'm going to beat this dude. So I was just like, oh, man, I don't know, my arm, coach, my arm. It's just like, man. And he just had that look on his face like, come on. And I'm like, no, I don't think I can do it. And he just sighed and walked off.
Yeah, pretty honest appraisal. I think. I think pretty honest appraisal that which my kids don't appreciate. But I also am honest enough that I'll use this on myself. Right. It usually doesn't come with the faking of a physical injury, right? Like it does with kids and youth sports and stuff like that. But there'll be an injury of sorts. And my wife will be like, "What's wrong? What happened?" Right? I was like, "Oh, yeah, wounded his pride." Right.
Right.
We've pulled the pride. It's a deep pride strain, and
like just hits a ball, and it's like this infield bloop, and they catch it and they're out. It's like, oh, I don't know, something's wrong with my arm or something.
Yeah.
Like, man, I was swinging, I just didn't make contact. Dude, I don't know what's going on.
He'll strain the pride.
Yes, my pride was very strained,
bruised,
very bruised.
Yeah.
I've only been beaten severely in like a match like 3 times, and I just wasn't having the third.
I
was not having the third.
That would have been a deep bone bruise right there.
Oh shoot! So what I find interesting about this story, okay, is Moses, the dude, had the audacity to tell God to his face or voice, no, find someone else. Like, could you imagine? Like, what would, if there was like a bush and it started burning and God was talking to you, right? Okay. And he was like, Mitch, I need you to go do this. What would you tell him? Like, what could be the thing that you'd have to be like, I can't do that?
Isn't that like...
I'm not sure
isn't that
there
like
is
the point of the story, though?
Yeah,
the point of the whole purpose here is the audacity of it, and it just really makes you realize, like, Moses, God is willing to help. Like, don't excuse yourself out of this situation. He's willing to help.
Yeah, I find that hilarious because he And I think a lot of it's because he did go to Pharaoh once and asked to have the 3 days off, right? To go, have a festival in the woods, right? And Pharaoh was like, no, now I'm going to make your life harder. And everybody kind of hates him for it, right? You know what I mean? Kind of like, so, he doesn't have a good track record of getting what, he needs from Pharaoh, right? So, you think that plays into his, like, decision-making here of saying, like, dude, I can't do this?
Of course. And I think everybody's, lifelong human experience plays into their long list of excuses they make or lies they tell themselves or falsification of facts, right? Write their own narrative.
Yep.
But so like Moses just really, I think, wants to just leave Egypt in his past. Just be done with it.
Yeah. And this is his, I see this as his, and this is why we picked it, but this is why he's playing a victim. Mm-hmm. He's not actually the victim in this, right? He's
the victims are back there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, I thought that was.
So he uses all these different excuses. We made some notes, kind of a list of the different excuses. And he uses identity, like I'm not the guy.
Dude,
I'm not that
who
guy.
am I to
who
do
am I
that?
to
Come
do
on.
This? He uses authority, like once again, like who am I?
I don't have the power to do this.
Who can tell Pharaoh to do anything?
Right.
Already tried that.
It. Didn't work.
Rejection, inadequacy, and then
just
to your point, flat out refusal.
That's a
no for me, dog.
That's a no for me, dog. Yeah. So which one of those do you feel that you identify most with when you and heaven forbid you ever play the victim in your life, right? But what do you think most people like identify with in there? I think it's inadequacy.
I identify, I think, and I may have to flesh it out more, but I really think with the identity part of it, the identity authority part of it, like I have, I don't think I see myself as much of a leader that people follow. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I don't feel I think that lies my excuses to do.
Interesting.
To do,
You're just the average Joe.
Yeah. So being able to inspire more out of folks and band them together in cooperation to go do something beyond all of our capabilities. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I maybe have the authority or even identify with that position of authority.
Interesting.
To be the leader.
See, I have command in my top talent themes, which command for the audience is a talent theme that, we talk about talent themes. It's a Clifton Strengths based thing, but command is, it's not that I want to be in charge, but in the lack of someone being in charge, I will do it.
You'll fill the power vacuum.
I will fill the power vacuum. So like all through school.
So is that what command means?
Yeah, it's that you appreciate a structure, a command structure, right? And then in the absence of it, you'll end up taking over. And then a great example is in school when you have a class project and they break you up into groups and you got like groups of 5, or at work, you do breakouts. Okay, guys, we're going to do a breakout. I'm going to count everybody. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1's over here, 2's over here, 3's over here. Okay. And then like, okay, pick a leader, right? And then everybody's just kind of like,
oh, well, that is me.
Then I just go, yep, okay.
Yeah, I let about 30 seconds of awkward silence go by, and I say, okay, well,
I guess I'm doing it.
now this is happening.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
part of the strength,
Okay.
right? That's part of the strength. So for me, identity and authority, I may feel like I don't have the authority to do it, but I would do it. Like, if something was like, if something's wrong in a situation, like you're in a meeting and a coworker says something that's inappropriate, right? I'm kind of the person to be like, dude, don't say that, right? Or like whatever.
I tried to sign in to see where my command is, but I don't know my password.
That's terrible. Anyway, I look at rejection and inadequacy. I think those are probably the fear of rejection is. I would think from a population standpoint, the one that people would resonate with the most, right?
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Just the fear of rejection of like, doing something, failing at it, right, or whatever. I think that probably stops most people. And then I think rejection and inadequacy really kind of come together, right? Because in yours, you're saying
You need to continue on your personal device.
rejection. Thank you, Siri. But like inadequacy just is kind of to your point a little bit where you feel that you don't have the authority to do it. That's more
maybe
of an
that's what I'm
inadequacy.
saying.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what I'm saying.
yeah. I think that's more it is
I
that
think-
feeling that you can't do it.
And I think the least used excuse is I don't think it's an excuse at all. It's just obstinance.
The denial,
The
just flat out
refusal. I think that's the least. I don't think many people.
Doesn't that annoy you though when somebody does that? Like when you're like, "Hey, grab the vacuum for me and vacuum this up," and they're
Not
like,
happening.
"No." Doesn't that just like, wait, what? Did you just flat out deny me?
But at the same time,
No, not an excuse. Like, no, hey, I got to get over here. But like, no.
yeah. So is it better? Like, yeah. Oh, there's some good questions in here, and we're getting into like parenting again. Don't we always do this,
my
right?
gosh,
Like,
yes.
you
Kid's like, no.
like, is it better? All right, so is it better to have a kid like do something like flat out begrudgingly, like do something begrudgingly and just
mad about it while
Just
they're
mad,
doing it,
right?
Yeah, it's Piper with
Or-
everything.
or just come around to terms to doing it later or something? Like, is it better that they do it begrudgingly on their own, or
Like brushing their teeth
yeah,
and combing their hair. Like, hey, brush your teeth and comb your hair. Like you got from when you wake up till you go to school to brush your teeth and comb your hair. I don't care when you do it.
oh man,
I just need it done in that
Dude.
time frame, right?
and
it's like
all right, I brush
about
my-
ready out the door. They're like, "Did you brush your teeth?" And they're like, "Yes," with this like dragon breath that you're like, "No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. And if you did, you didn't do a good enough
You should
job."
try scrubbing your tongue.
Why is it so hard? I remember brushing my teeth. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm just one of those memories where you
Yeah.
fill your head with how great of a kid that you were.
told your own narrative. You wrote your own.
Yeah.
All right, so
but I remember brushing my teeth all the time. I wearing deodorant, brushing my teeth. I
not
always
a problem.
did it.
Like, I don't understand. Not. So it's funny. Like, first thing I do in the morning is brush my teeth.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
then I go drink coffee. Like, so like I don't know. It's not like I do it. It's not like I do it right. You know what I mean?
You feel out nice and fresh, and then you got coffee breath.
Oh yeah, through like lunch, right? I mean, you're probably dealing with it right now, right? Sitting across the table with me, so it's like I'm not doing anybody any favors. But I did brush my teeth twice. Right?
Yeah. Now, do you brush your teeth twice a day?
Yeah.
See, I don't.
You don't brush your teeth of an evening before you go to bed? Oh, man. All right, we have any dentist on the line?
Maybe that's my problem. I don't
Like, that's
I don't
probably the
know.
number.
I'd
That's
have to
probably more
figure-
important.
I have to figure it out, and I wonder if Shauna does. Now, I will floss and stuff at night after dinner to get
Oh, I don't floss.
the
No way,
stuff
man.
out of my teeth.
No, you got to keep that stuff in there. Plugs up the gaps.
No,
keeps other
that's
stuff
the
from
pro-
getting stuck.
That's the problem. Is it sits there next to the tooth? And
Yeah, see, I
it's
get
not
nothing
good.
stuck in my teeth. Additionally, because it's just all permanently there.
It's just always old beef is in there.
Yeah.
Old sushi.
Yeah, I just
Old scallop sushi.
floss twice a year, and I have it done professionally.
Yeah. Have you ever had your kids just tell you no? I don't mean like toddler no. Like, no, it's time to take a nap. No, 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 no. And then you put them in the room. No, no.
Yeah.
But like, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Just be like, no.
Yeah, and
I've never had it. My
No,
kids have
so-
never done it. Now I've asked them to do something or
Now-
whatever, and they didn't do it.
So,
but
here's-
I've never had them just be like, no.
And here I'll just keep it as high level as possible. Never obstinance with a chore or the toothbrush. Like never. It's never just been
Okay.
like hey, I need you to go do this now.
Yeah.
Never with anything like that. But one time I tried to get my tried to get my middle schooler out of his comfort zone. And into a social situation that in middle school,
well, that's appropriate for him to tell you no.
and he just I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, all right, yeah, we're gonna go do this. He looks at me, and goes, no, we're not, right? Like
Completely appropriate.
but just like a completely different I mean,
not like, no, Dad, come on,
No,
let's do
no,
something
it
else.
was
I was like, no.
switch flipped, and went from father brother to college roommate. No, we're not leaving here. So
You can go do that.
you can just sit on down.
No, all my kids are the begrudging, like, angry, hey, you need to do your chores. Sweeping furiously.
Angry cleaning.
Angry cleaning. Our house has a lot of angry cleaning, unfortunately. Well, and I'm the victim of that. I have to deal with all the angry cleaning. See, I'm playing the victim.
Playing the victim.
What a good. So I think that wraps it up. I mean, that's a pretty good.
Well, the sands of time.
The sands of time have ended, and we are a little long-winded. So now again, I don't want to take away from. Then we kind of mentioned it in the beginning, and I just want to re-emphasize. We're really talking when we're talking about the victim here in our discussion was just the kind of playing the victim. In a lot of stories, and this is Moses kind of playing the victim here, but in a lot of stories and a lot of people's lives, they are an actual victim of something, right? So we don't want to downplay, and we don't want to make fun of that. But so I just kind of wanted to re-emphasize that point if you're joining us late in this conversation. So that's it.
Wow, well, this was fun. Catch
was
you
a good
guys
See you next
week
week.
for the guide.
For the guide. Later.
Peace.